All right, so I am going to get started. It is 2 o'clock sharp. First of all, we just wanted to thank everyone for joining us today. My name is Brandy Nelson. I'm the Vice President of SBA Lending at Falcon National Bank, and there's actually quite a few people from Falcon on this line. And we just want to welcome you to this call and thank you for taking the time. We know there's a lot going on in the state of Minnesota and across the United States that everyone's kind of looking at right now. But we also understand that getting this information out to you is very important. So if for some reason you need to drop off today, feel free to join us on Friday. Otherwise, the SBA Minnesota District Office is also hosting 2 calls a day. So those are out there also on LinkedIn with all of the information. You're going to also find that our presentation is extremely similar to theirs. We're just getting the information out. That's our goal. So again, thank you for joining us, and we're going to get started. As I stated, I did mute all of the lines just now, so no worries about figuring it out on your phone. I figured out how to do it, so good news there. I will unmute at the end because we're going to have a question and answers session right after. This presentation probably is going to take us about 20 minutes, and then from there we'll go into Q&A. The good news is, too, I just wanted to introduce you to Alicia Podobinsky with the Minnesota District Office. She's actually here, too, from the SBA, just to help field some of those questions. So as we unmute, just know that there is somebody actually from our district office on this call, and we appreciate her support. So thanks for being here, Alicia. All right. So for the meeting today, we're going to go over some really important information in regard to the Disaster Loan Program. We're going to give you an overview of the program. We're going to help you to try to understand who is eligible. We're going to give you information on the documents that you need to be able to apply. We're going to help you know how to apply. And then we've learned a few tricks and trades along the way as we've helped some of our customers. And so I'm also going to share some of that information with you today. So what is the Disaster Loan Assistance Program? So this is a program that the SBA actually came out with a few weeks ago. The state of Minnesota was approved this last Saturday to be able to take advantage of this program. It's a low-interest federal disaster loan program, and it's specifically for working capital. And you're going to hear that quite a few times throughout this presentation. It's not for debt refinance. It's not for going backwards and losses that you've already incurred. It's for looking forward and helping you during this economic time to survive as a business owner because of the result of the COVID-19. So again, at the bottom, I just want to make sure you guys all understand this is not a lender direct program. You will be going to the SBA direct for this loan product. We are here to help along with some other individuals, and I've got their names towards the end, that are willing to help provide guidance on how to apply or how to prepare. But that's, again, why we're doing this call, because it is an SBA government program, and so that means that there are some documents that you may not have seen before, but that's why we're getting that out there to you. So what are the parameters? So this program is really advantageous for someone that owns a business because it can go up to $2 million. For a for-profit business, it's 3.75%. For a private nonprofit organization, it's 2.75%. And the amortizations can actually go up to 30 years. So very unique to the SBA program. Typically, as many of you know, our SBA rates are typically higher than that. But because it's a disaster assistance program, they're offering very favorable terms. And then the eligibility also opens up. For everything you know about SBA, kind of take it out the window because this is for any business. It's also for some private nonprofit organizations, and we're going to give you a list of some of those at the end, just to give you an idea of what those industries may be and what that looks like. So the question again, and I talked about this a little bit, is what can these funds be used for? It's important that you understand that it's working capital. So your fixed debt payments, your payroll, your accounts payable, or any other bills that you have to pay throughout this disaster. I've had multiple conversations with people over the last week just saying to them, look in the window forward, think about 90 days, any overhead expenses that you have, any debt payments you have, anything you need to be able to keep the business doors ready to be opened once you can open again. That's what this program is for, is specifically working capital. So it's not intended for expansion, and it's not intended to look in the rearview mirror. Understanding the underwriting parameters is also equally important. And I don't have all of these answers, and I know Alicia won't either, but you can ask. They are going to look at credit history. I have not heard of any minimum credit scores. I haven't heard about anything else outside of they just look at your credit history and they pull your credit report. My experience with SBA is if you have a current past due or you have any judgments or liens, you're ineligible. However, I have not heard about that underwriting criteria yet. They've just blanketed it as credit history. They look at repayment, so they do look at cash flow. They will not do these loans on a pro forma basis. So that's important to look at is, can my business currently afford this debt payment today? That's what they're going to look at. And then from a collateral standpoint, any loan that is $25,000 or less is 100% unsecured. They don't ask for collateral and they won't look for it. Anything over $25,000, they're going to ask for collateral. And I think it's important for all of you on this call to understand that they even stated that they will take a fourth or a fifth or a sixth mortgage. They don't care if there's collateral available. They will take it because they want to know that you're all in. So again, don't know how that's all going to work out for each of us. It's going to be dependent on the underwriter and however they're underwriting these loans. But I think you need to understand that there is a pretty good possibility if you take more than $25,000 that if you own real estate, it's probably going to be taken as collateral. Eligibility. So who is eligible? They indicate that the SBA does that it's small businesses, small agricultural co-ops, small aquaculture businesses, and most private non-for-profit orgs. That includes businesses that are directly affected by the disaster, businesses that offer services to those that have businesses in declaration. And, you know, if for example, you know, we were, you know, doing business with someone that is closed right now, let's say like a restaurant, that restaurant would be qualified and the vendor to the restaurant would be qualified. So there's a direct example. And then anyone indirectly that is related to an industry that has been harmed by the losses in the community. So that is the three eligibility requirements that they lay out. So here's some examples. Examples include restaurants, retailers, manufacturers, sports vendors, rental property owners, which is unique for this program, not to the SBA, retail shops, travel agencies, hotels, and wholesalers. So that's just, and again, there's more. There is a size standard, and so one thing I didn't say at the beginning that I'm going to remind you at the end is we're going to send you this presentation that we've put together. The nice thing about the presentation is all of these links are live links. So when you get this presentation, you'll be able to click on anything that is a link, and it's going to take you directly to the SBA portal or whatever page that would pull. So this page is going to tell you if you meet the size standards. And so if you're interested, definitely look, but I will tell you that, for example, one of the size standards is, I believe it's that you have to have for-profit and net profit of an average of $3.5 million for 3 consecutive years, something like that. So when people think small business, I think they think small business, but this program really is for businesses that are much larger than in our minds what we think small businesses are. However, if you think you might not qualify, definitely go check out this link. And then the private nonprofit eligibility, this gives you the information in regards to which private nonprofits qualify. And we do have a small list here that we borrowed from the SBA, being that nursing home, food kitchens, food shelves, museums, educational facilities, senior centers, daycare centers, community centers, and shelters, and then of course associations. So there's more, I'm sure, that qualify, but those are just the ones that are kind of giving you an idea of what that means. Ineligible entities, at this time, most agricultural enterprises are ineligible. The FSA, it sounds like, may or will be coming out with a program similar to this so that they can help out the farmers. Religious organizations are ineligible. Businesses considered to be hobbies, anything gambling, and then, of course, speculative real estate is ineligible. So how to apply? I sat through an application process yesterday because I wanted to understand how it worked. And I learned a lot. And so I just want to share this with you because if you're going to be going out to apply, I think there's a few things we took away, the borrower and I, from doing this. First of all, these forms are very important to have up front. And most of these forms you're going to fill out and you're going to type in when you go through the application process. You're not actually going to have to scan the form or anything, but it's nice to have it all there and ready so you're not trying to find information as you're going through the application process. Because as many of us know, this website is getting bombarded with thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands probably of people that want this loan. And so it can be extremely tedious, I'm going to be honest, and it's going to take you some time to get it in through this application. Now, with that being said, we started at 11:30, we stopped at 2:30, then we picked it back up at 5:30, and we finished over half of it within a half hour from 5:30 to 6, compared to the 2 hours we spent on the other side during peak times. So I would really recommend to all of you on the call to go on non-peak times, which is somewhere around 5:30 p.m. to 6 a.m. Central Standard Time. So start with these forms. Again, these are active links. They're actually very easy forms. If you've done any type of financing with a commercial lender or an SBA lender, you'll recognize these forms. And then this is a really nice cheat sheet that the SBA actually put out, and so we did offer this as additional guidance showing you really what we talked about today as a summary, steps, applying for the loan, verifying the information, and then what happens after we're approved so that you understand what that looks like. So feel free to utilize that link in understanding. And then how to apply. I highly encourage you to do this online. If you don't have a computer, go to the library or find a friend, because this is going to be important online. When I attended the trainings that the SBA hosted, they just talked about, just like anything with paper, it can get lost. You know, there's not always that dedicated time, as in when you go online, you immediately get it's been submitted, and then you can actually follow the process online after you've submitted to know where it's at. So it's a little bit easier, faster, and more accurate if you do it online. So I would recommend that. And again, this link takes you directly to the website that you need to be able to apply. And then, as I just stated, you can actually follow your application throughout that process by going back to that website, and then on the far top right-hand corner, there's a message box where you'll be able to click that and be able to see where it's at in the process. However, if you really do decide to do it in the mail, we did give you the address for you to do that. Another important contact is this customer service center. So some of the questions we may not be able to answer today, or you might be stuck somewhere and you don't feel like you have a contact and you want a question now, you can certainly call or email the team at SBA that's covering this project. So I'm just going to highlight really quick that this is different from our normal traditional SBA loans. The funds come directly from the U.S. Treasury. Again, you're not applying through a lender, you're applying through the SBA at this website. There's no cost to apply. So you can go through the entire application process. You can get approved. You then will get the documents sent to you to sign. Until you sign on that dotted line, you don't have a loan and you don't have any costs incurred. And again, there's no obligation to take that loan. So I think that's important to remember. So if you are thinking in your mind, and we have a few that have said this, I don't need the money today, but I probably am going to need it in 30 days. Now is the time to apply because of the process. It takes, on average, we're hearing around 20 days to get this to the formal approval process. And that's, again, with they don't have a lot of these of proof of pudding, and everyone's a little bit different. So I throw 20 days out there, but just know that it could take less and it could take more. And then again, you know, typically the SBA doesn't do just straight unsecured loans. And when I say unsecured, they're not taking liens, they're not taking all business asset UCC filings, nothing like that. So, so it's really unique in that if you do get approved for $25,000 or less, you don't have to worry about the collateral. And then another question that people have said is, what if the SBA approves me for $10,000 and then in 60 days I need more? You actually can apply for an increase. So even if you have one loan and you're approved for that disaster loan, you can actually, in fact, go back and apply for more and explain why you think you need more. So that is unique to that. You won't get two loans, you get one, and it's an increase. All right, so tips for an improved experience. This is just following up from our presentation today. The number one tip is submit your application as soon as possible. The system is, not will get now, is flooded with applications, so I recommend getting it submitted as soon as you're able to. Again, non-peak times, and I put 5 p.m. to 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. That's just the guidance that was on the SBA's website when I looked yesterday. And then be sure to try to complete all of the information required, because what will happen is if you don't submit everything that they need, you'll get a letter in the mail, is what I've heard, just saying, hey, you're missing this information and we need this. And so you just want to try to be as thorough as possible and give them all of the information the first time. Some of the frequently asked questions that we're seeing is, can I change my loan amount once I've submitted an application? If more funds are needed, again, you can always apply for an increase. If less funds are needed, you can actually request to have it reduced. So here's another unique thing we've learned over the last 24 hours about this program. You're not actually applying for a loan amount. So you might have in your mind that you want $2 million, but you're not actually ever putting that in the application. What you're doing is you're offering your sales numbers, you're offering your cost of goods sold, your total expenses numbers, you're offering your tax returns, all of these things the SBA is taking in, and then they're going to determine what they feel is the right number to be able to loan you. It's a little different in that respect. So you may get a number back and you may say, I don't want that much, that makes me nervous. Well, you can actually ask them to reduce that loan amount. And if you are denied, just like all SBA programs, you are given up to 6 months to be able to ask for reconsideration. And so if you're denied and you're not sure why, or maybe you can mitigate through why you were declined, you actually can go in and you can write a letter of reconsideration and ask them to reconsider that denial. And I can tell you that this does happen even in my world, and we have gotten reconsideration loans approved, where the SBA will deny it for 1 or 2 reasons, and you're able to turn it around, massage it, and make it work so that they can feel comfortable. So I would think it would be the same with that program. So who are your resources? Because you may find while you're going through this that you don't have everything you need. One thing that I didn't talk about in here is if you currently have SBA government guaranteed loans, you're going to need your SBA loan number, not your bank loan number, but you're going to need your SBA loan number, and you're going to need your current balance and the maturity. So those 3 things are found in your SBA authorization. So if you're getting prepared to apply for this loan and you don't have your existing authorizations, I would recommend you reach out to your lender and ask them to send you a copy of that authorization. And all of our lenders are here, and you'll see their pictures at the end of the slide along with links, so you can email us anytime or call us. So that's one important thing to note. The other thing, too, that you'll find is there's some really neat partners in the state of Minnesota that are consulting for no cost. You're also going to find that there's going to be people, I'm sure, that are going to come out of the woodworks that want to package this and charge you. That's okay. The SBA actually has said that people can help you and package your deals and charge you for it if you're okay with it. Or you could also go to one of these SBA resource partners, which is the SBDC, SCORE, WBC, and WIBIC. And all of these 4 actually are active links too, so that you can find somebody in your local area, just because you guys are kind of all calling from all over the state and even out of state today. So so these are not specific to any region. It gives you an option. The other thing you can do is you can give Miss Alicia a call at the Minnesota District Office, and you can click here to find out who your local assistance person is, or you can actually email the district office directly any questions that you may have. So our offer to our customers, a handful or more, hopefully, of you are our current customers, and we thank you for that. So what I wanted to do is just to let you know, because we have been fielding a lot of calls, we want to let you know that if you're in a position where you believe you may need a deferral on your loan, that there is an option for you, and you need to reach out to your lender. Things that I am asking for from an SBA standpoint so that you can also come prepared is we'd like to see your year-end profit and loss statement, your company prepared, not tax return, just a company prepared, and then an updated personal financial statement. Those are the two things that I'd love for you to have or be ready to provide, and then we can look at up to a 90-day deferral for you if that makes sense for you and for the bank. So I just wanted to throw that out there because not only do we have the disaster program, but Falcon also, of course, is in your corner, and we want to help you to be successful throughout this time. So feel free to reach out to any of us.